Good evening, guys. It's or good afternoon or good late afternoon. It's 4:53 p.m. Today is June 6th. Today is Monday. So I know. So now my Ninja Trader and Mboxwave, Rhythmic, all are working fine again. So I'm going to include Mboxwave also in today's regular video. I'm going to combine both videos. But only for ES though. Okay. So for Mbox only ES because that's the only thing I watched early in the morning. Okay, so I'm going to cover that. I didn't have NQ open at that time. So but first I will continue with the regular video, right? Half of it, and together I will try to bring up Mbox also in between, to show you both ways. So going into the day, right? So and Friday's end of day video I will do it later on, last Friday's video I still have to do that on, right? So but anyway, for this week, last entire week range is the garbage range, right? So this week you want to see price trading above or below that range, so last entire week's range basically pretty much 52 54 67 69 38 42 4108 4110, right? So you can pause the video here and then you can see this 4 levels. Mark down these 4 levels in your chart and you can see how price behaved around these levels. First, second, third, fourth. Each level has a trade in it, inbuilt. You got both opportunities, long and short. How you trade it, that's a different story, right? But at least levels are powerful. You can see it. Just draw the lines at these 4 levels and you will see it. So price may make a move from one of these areas, right? But it did not make a move. It did make a move, but it was not able to go out of those areas. Okay. So because the price is in the garbage, stuck between short-term buyers, mid-term sellers, right? We are both open for both side trading from this area. At the same time, we have to look for strengths with the one side and join them. There is nothing else I can write except to letting you know that this is what is going on. There is no need to assume something here, and rest of the comments are in the chart itself, right? NQ, 3 dark blue lines and the chart comments for NQ. Read them in the chart, right, for the directional clue about dream numbers, buyers below, sellers idea to keep in mind. That is our general idea. Basically Globex high to dream number is the area where both parties are active with some buyers flavors in it, right? Sellers will have to keep it below Globex high today, otherwise buyers may try to take it higher and higher, right? And then there are notes there. The sell, these are the levels, right? So price came down to here or here and then from here, right? So the sell is pretty much stuck in this range. Dow, I did not look at it. Crude, I looked at it only in the early morning and then I did not look at it. At that time it was stuck between 119 and 20, okay? Dream numbers 673, 650, very powerful numbers, right? So you remember all these things, right? You can pause and memorize it and then we can go here, right here, right? So these were my charts comments at 6 o'clock when I published the pre-market note. These were the notes in the chart, right, at each level. So that's why I said notes are, read the notes in the chart, right? So here it's the same story, 54, 38, 42, 10, 8 and 67, 4 key areas, right? So now you can see there is a comment here, right? Backup buyers area below some sellers, right? So here it's saying this is a backup buyer area, right? So price opened around in between somewhere here, right? So now in a live environment you can see that this is a buyer's area, backup. This area 52 54, it's a preferred sellers area as well as preferred buyers area, right? So what we discuss in Discord at this point of the open right here, I said you can do gamble. You can go long 50% probability, you can go short 50% probability. Either one will work, okay? And then once you take a trade, your target is this or this for either side, and then you have to watch in real time to see whether you have to hold it or you want to bail out, But so that was a 50% probability trade, right? But then I said personally I'm going to wait, I'm not gonna gamble, so I did not do anything, right? But here you can see sellers were active, right? So those guys won. Then it came down, right? Because backup buyer area below sellers are active, right? Up to this point buyers can buy it here, even though sellers defended it here, right? Buyers can still buy it from here. It's a backup buyers area. Same thing, if price goes above it, sellers can still defend it because it's a backup sellers area. Above, full-blown buying, below, full-blown selling intraday. So I was looking for those kind of signals, right? Above this, buying, below this, more selling. So in the morning, so when price came down here first time, right, I was also talking about NQ and ES out of sync of the open, right? You have to wait for those guys to come in sync, right? That is what we discussed in this call. Then we were watching this price action in the morning, right? And then price came down, correct? So here at 697, here I initiated a long, which I already told you, right? And my stop was at around 690 or 89 at that point, right here. I took the long right here. My stop was right below this VWAP, right? And then I gave you the reason why I took it, right? Because I saw ES bouncing from it, right? That's why I took the trade. At that time I couldn't execute in both the environment, so I took the trade here, right? But my stop was tight because we were watching it. Hey, morning buyers were in control in NQ, and then sellers came back, and all these things, and ES was still holding here, so we waited for these things. Once it bounced little bit up, I took the trade here, right? Now the idea was it should go through this area, right? Because NQ, this was a preferred sellers and buyers area similar to ES, right? So once price below it, technically sellers are there, but this was a backup buyers area, right? So that was still buyers can buy it from here. Considering entire overnight price was trading above VWAP, there will be some buyers here for a bounce, right? And then real buyers have to prove it by follow through, by taking out this area completely. If they don't, then it may fail and come back down, and then it will go here, and then something will happen, or may not happen, depend. So this is what we were observing. I was talking while this was going on, right? With this, now buyers are controlled at this point, right? And then what happened? Then ES right here around 948, around this time, right? 944 or 45. ES tried to make a new high, right? So at this time you have a choice here. See, here you have a choice to go long in ES or NQ, right? I picked up NQ because it moves fast, right? ES I didn't want to take a chance because the way it got rejection from here, and this is a good area, bold area. So ES I did not take it, NQ I took it, right? And then it tried to go higher. Here I said you have a choice, because it's a failed breakout, right? This failed breakout, sellers, stuck buyers can liquidate their position, and additional sellers may step in here, and same thing here also, right? That they may step in, because of this thing. See, this thing did not make a new high. This thing made a new high. They were out of sync, correct? So possibility is there. If NQ fails, this thing goes down. It will generate a failed breakout, right? So the moment ES came down like this, I build out my 50% position here. Rest, I move my stop right at break even 697, right? And then it came down, right? Took me out on my 50%. But that thing told me a story, right here, that now since sellers overall mid-term sellers are in control, we have a failed breakout right here, then test of this area, key area, preferred area, right? And then price came down, correct? Now it's a seller's duty to keep the price below 730, 734, this area, 734, 730, and push it down, go through this area. Then it will be more selling. Okay, that was the idea we discussed at that time. ES, we did the same discussion, that ES has to go through 38.41 completely, at this point, and hold below 41.50 in order for a further downward. If price goes above 41.50, buyers will be back in the picture at that time. NQ, if it goes above 730, 734, buyers will be back in picture. It will go higher and higher. That was the idea we discussed, right? So based on that idea, I had a breakfast to take at that time. So what I did was, in this code I said, right, that I am going to put 2 micros while I'm going for a breakfast, and price was right here. I said I am going to put 2 micros at 51 in ES right here, against this resistance. Right here I said I'm going to put 51 long with 2 micros, stop at 45, and then I will go for a breakfast, and if trade happens in between, if the price goes to 51, it will fill me out, right? That is what we discussed. By the time I came back in like 2-3 minutes, my trade triggered here, and then it went higher, right? So when it touched this area, I said it was good 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. I'm going to bail out here. If you took a long in NQ, this was the time to bail out, because both are coming into the same area. This was a key area because above buyers are confirming. Look at here my comments from morning. See, pre-market comments, above buyers confirming if ES is above 67.69. ES was not above 67.69, right? So it may not break it, or it may, who knows, right? But the comments were there, right? So I took the profit here. Why? I gave you the reason also. Because what was the reason? Yes, the reason was the way this price action happened, right? Both parties got screwed. All the day traders pretty much, trying to trade both sides, they got screwed up, right? And I was watching these things. So that tells me there is a further, there would be a possibility that further chop may come at least one point in time later. So, and it was good 3-to-1 risk reward, and my entry was poor actually, right? Because I just assumed that it will go higher, and based on that assumption and based on this morning raid, I put the order ahead of it happening, right? And that's so 51 was a poor entry in a way, because look at this, my entry was right in the middle, right? So, and with 5 point stop, if I'm getting 15 points return, there is no point that I should hold this trade, right? I should bail out instantly while locking the profit and then wait. If price goes higher, pull back here, I am going to go long again. So that's why this was a good exit. First test I bailed out here, both of them. So, and then what happened? Then you look for a pullback now, right? So then we have to come up with a, up to this point, if you look at this price and internal side, looks like price wants to go higher further at this point, right? Not after saying this, but at this point it wants to go higher. So the idea is, okay, fine, we will wait for a pullback now, right? Either price goes higher and pull back here, or it goes lower and hold this damn thing, this entire balance that it broke out, right? Same thing here. So when NQ pull back here, ES also pull back here, right? This level here, I said line in sand, right? So I said intraday bias line in sand is 54.57, and in this code I said intraday line in NQ is this area pretty much, 687, 751, 734. So they are line in sand intraday, for buyers. If they can't hold it, price is going to go ping pong based on this idea, right? That was the idea that I use it to take exit here, right? So if that happens, that means ping pong may happen or price may go down. Simple, right? So, but at least in either case, it may give you a short opportunity, if you are watching it. So I was not watching it. So, but anyway, so here you can go long, relying on the intraday bias and line in sand, right? And then you go long here, you go long here, right? And now you expect a breakup. Okay, so now this is a good time to bring Mboxwave right here into this picture. So I'm going to bring it, and then I will go back to the regular video. So hold on. Okay, so let's start from, this is the 9:30 price action, right? When it opens here. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let me hide these things. I'm going to show you in SIM account. Okay. Right here. And what's going on? Okay. So hold on. Let me turn this off. Okay. So right here. So this is the price action which we discussed, right? Buyers, sellers, all these things, correct? So if you are purely using Mboxwave, let's say you don't know the importance of these levels, let's say, right? So let's say you don't know all these comments, right? Which you don't actually, those who are not members, right? So you don't know about these notes, you don't know importance about these levels unless you know how to draw the levels, you know. So and then so if you're watching it, then you can see price open right here at 52.54, right? So there was no mbox signal here, except you can see some heavy selling going on here. See that? Minus 74, 175, 148, minus 57, 40, correct? So idea is, okay, so sellers are in control, right? So right of the open, you're not gonna buy it here, right? Right of the open, you don't know even this level exists, I'm assuming, right? That means you're not gonna short randomly here, right? So you're gonna wait for to see some kind of selling, right? And then right of the open, you after seeing this, you're not gonna short it, right? So you're gonna wait. Then what happened? Price went higher, right? Little bit, and again it came down, correct? But look, there is no X control dot here or arrow, right? X control dot, big dot, there is no big dot here, right? That's the first thing. So in a way, it looks like, okay, it's kind of a breakdown of this area pretty much, right? And it's an initiative selling, right? And then if you look at here, this selling was not enough. See, it was just offsetting this buy, that's all. It was not that great selling, right? Here it was positive delta, here the selling was less compared to this buy. See that one point? So even though it break down, there is no X control dot here, big dot, right? And this was a weakness, you know, it was not like showing strong strength. And if you look at internals here, right, they were holding well in a positive territory, you know? So that's why this was not a short to go with the flow, you know? So you have to wait. Now then what happened, let's say you assume that you don't know importance of this level, right? Then you're not gonna go long here, right? You are going to wait for price to take out this area, then you go long with the flow, right? So here at this point it tried, so I already talked about this long through the regular way, right? But I'm assuming here you don't know the levels, right? So I'm only talking about pure unbox, right? So there is no long here, okay? Then what happened? Price went higher, right? And then there is X control big dot here, which is my triangle, right? And then it tried to go higher, like trying to break out this level, correct? So at here, if you compare this area, morning high, which is this, it was a breakout. But if you consider this price action, then it was not a breakout, right? But consider, let's say for now you consider this RTH only price action, and then you are seeing this buying coming in, right? And this breakout is happening with X control dot. It was a long setup, you know, based on purely Mboxwave. This was a long setup, right? If you consider only RTH price action, right? So let's say now the idea is you are taking a breakout with this buying and all this thing. You want price to hold above this area then, right? Ideally, because it broke out these things, that's the first reason you took the breakout. Then you want price to hold be above this area, right? If price goes below, you have to bail out then, because that was the whole idea, right? The price has to go now, go, because sellers failed here, and that's why you took the breakout. So they have to show you the strength. And there was a 148 delta also here, right? And there was X control dot, buying was there, right? So let's say you go long here, immediately price pull back down, you bailed out pretty much with a stop loss or something, right? Then price went down, let's say here you stopped out, correct? Then price went down. So that's why I was saying levels are important, otherwise you are shooting in the dark, okay? That's the first thing. So we did not take a long here. I already discussed, right, why and all these things. So I'm assuming you already watched that regular video. Before this I started Mbox, right? In the same video, the first few minutes you heard it. So here but here now then price went down, right? So it stopped you out, it went down. At this point, what is the idea, right? At this point you have to assume whatever I discussed, that sellers are in control, right? And price has to hold below certain levels, which is 50 in my case here, right, as I described. And then I took that 51 micro longs, remember, right from here. So at this point you have to assume sellers are in control and they have to hold below this area now. They have to do a breakdown and hold below it, right? So when price was going down, you can see there was a little selling compared to buying. See, delta was still positive, right? There was no enough selling here to justify this selling, right? So you're not gonna short with this candle, right? You're gonna wait for a X control dot. See, there was no X control dot, or something you need it, right? I'm not saying only X control dot, but something you have to see it both together, right? So there was nothing, right? So can you go long here? You can, right? It's a divergence, but there is no guarantee that it's gonna work because both sides are active. So you have to wait, no choice. But you can wait for some confirmation or clue, right? See, this is where I put the trade at 51, right here. Right when price touched here, I put the trade, right? So I played a safer bet, you know. Instead of guessing it here, I said, okay, fine. If this area holds it here, right, because there is no enough selling, then price will go higher, right? And if it goes above 50, which is this line, I drew it in real time, then buyers are going to try to take it higher now at this point, because sellers already tried it, they failed it, they couldn't hold even below this area and this 50, and now price is going higher. And we are close to now, first 30 minutes is over, most likely it's going to break out and go higher, you know, because NQ bounced from this backup area, see. But let's say you don't know about these levels, but at least for me, I was watching it, it is bounced from this backup area. So I know at least NQ has some bias. If it takes out 730 and ES takes out 51 or 50, it is going to go higher, you know, at least back to the top. That's why I put the advanced trade here, right here, you know, before it happens. And then you can see there is a buying, the buying came, right, X control dot, the buying came here also. Look at this buying, right, this buying higher than this, right, but lower than this. So there was a warning sign also, but look at this, okay, this buying, good amount of buying, correct, compared to this buying. Look at this, poor, higher, right, higher if you draw a line. So now, but let's say you don't want to trade in the middle at 51, right? Then you have to wait for this breakout. Once the breakout happens, you go along with the breakout, you know, based on this, and this, and you have to read this story, you know. Otherwise, you don't do anything, you know. So that was the trade, you know? And then here I wheeled up personally, right? After this point onwards, see here in Mbox, you have to see what? Follow through buying, right? If this thing wants to break out this area, you want to see follow through buying, but instead you can see this, you know, like this. See these things, 76. Forget about this thing first. Hold on, let me see. So once this breakout happens, right, you wait for a pullback to this area, which is this, right, 57, and then you go long here, right? Because look at this, when it got rejection from this area, right, or whatever this level is, right, assuming you don't know importance about this level. So then let's say price randomly stopped here, right, and then it goes down, right, and then it goes down and goes down. You're watching this, okay, some selling came, right? You need to see a follow through. Was there a follow through? Yes, there was no follow through in the selling, but in the price, yes, it tried to break out these lows, see that, with some dot, but then there was no major selling dot, right? And then what happened when it made the new low below this, right here? Look at this, very little selling, very little selling, very little selling. That means somebody is going to buy it up, try to defend this breakout area, and that is what exactly happened, right? So that's where you go long here, see, in NQ and ES also at the same time, right here, see that. Then what happened? Then price tried, then the idea is it should break out this area, right? But you need to see what? Buying, right? Coupled with this breakout, if that happens. So this is why I put the note in right here, you know, in live in Discord, sharing this screenshot putting this note, you need to see buying here to come if breakouts above 69, right? So here, so at this time, see, first time there is little buying, right? And then selling also very little, right? So nothing you can do here except holding your trade. Then here also it tried to break out, very little buying, right? Then again it went down, there is no selling, so arrow was pointing higher here. You can see this, right? Selling was reducing, correct? So now you are expecting a breakout, but for breakout you need buying also come in at the same time, right? And then what happened here? Finally price tried to take out this area, and at this point I was expecting buying, but look at the damn thing, very little buying. See, this is the warning sign now that hey, something is off, you should bail out right here based on Mbox. Then what happened? You can even hold it when you see price going down here. At this point you can see 125, 119, 109. Every push down, higher delta. Every push up, lower delta. See, these are the signs price do want to go down, or at least it's not ready to go up yet. Then there was a final attempt here, right? At this time also you can see there was a very little buying. See that here? So now two things can happen. Either it's gonna break out with a strong buying in a few minutes after this, or break down with a strong selling, which is this happen like that. See the X control dot? There is no dot here, big dot. Here it came, right? And then you can see this selling superseding all these things. This was the time to go with the flow, short it and target lower areas, like this, right? Which is this area. See that? And that was also confirming with intraday buyers line breaking down. Then this was a short here. Here you can do wherever you want to short. Then price sliced through all these levels, right? And it was going down, 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 and then it bounced from this 30 area, right? Which is this random place, correct? So at least the member knows this thing. It's a random buying here. That means you focus on levels, not on randomness, right? So at least you look for shorts into this area now, because buyers had enough opportunity to hold above this backup buyers area, and now it failed. So now it is trading below backup buyers area and preferred buyers area. Definitely this sellings will come. So when price spoke higher, right, like this was the time to short on this area, from this area, or by looking at the Mbox. Right? If you look at this, it was like mini balance below this area, and now price tried to break out, correct? With X control dot and some buying, I would say, right? Not a great buying, but some buying. And you can see it here. It took out this entire buying area. This was higher than this, right? But if you compare to this selling, and if you see this tiny buying, it doesn't make sense. See, this buying is more than this buying. But comparing to this selling, this buying is tiny, right? So you do not want to buy it here, because now all these sellers are on the way up. So there is no way price is gonna go higher, or at least without any pullback, right? So without any rejection, I would say. So you do not want to buy it here, but wait to see whether price goes back below this breakdown area. And if it does, you can short it, because anyway this was a poor area, so it will go further down, right? So members knows this is the next area, short-term buyers line in sand, so it may come there, who knows. So once it comes down here, see, first time people try to buy it here, correct? And then what happened? On the way up, buying gone. Look at this, gone. Pull back, I'll go 17, right? You can even now ready to go short right below this break, this low. Second attempt, 24, UT, very little buying, very little buying. And then you see the big X control dot, break down, short, right here at this arrow, and target lower areas. See my point? And then, boom, touch this line, 41.10, you take the profit, call it a day off, simple. So that is all I'm going to cover now, okay, in Mbox. And that's pretty much it. So now I'm going to try back to the regular video, right? So Mboxwave trade was here, right? We covered about this trade, and then here take profit, correct? And then you wait for another opportunity below this area, right? Now if price goes back higher, you can even short right here at this breakdown point, right? But price couldn't even get there, correct? So now you have to wait. When you see this taking out this breakout, you do not want to trade anymore now. You have to just stop trading, because now price is ping ponging. See here also, remember I also said if price goes below intraday buyer's line, you can either stop trading for the day. Those who already took this long, for them there is no trading. Those who missed out this long and they see these things, there was a short here. But once after price goes down, here profit, and then they have to you have to bail out. You can't hold your position longer. And that be all for today. And you also, you had a trade here also. So similar breakout here, breakdown here, and there was a trade here, right? And then you stop here, because look at this. This was a fighting area below sellers, above short-term buyers. A similar line in sand. See that? So price comes here, you have to back out. You have to back out, take profit, and no more trading here. Second test, you do not want to trade it. That be all for today.